Hello again, time for some new videos. So this is my chess channel, as you know. So this is how it looks when I watch it. So I added, if you want to find my studies, then you can maybe search for my profile here, Ulsan Chess Books, maybe easiest. Go down here. I also created another part 2, so I'm at the part 2 now because you could only have 64 games in one study. So I am at the part 2 here. And you see I have 33 games here, so I have probably 100 games, almost 100 games now. So let's see. Now we are looking at the Grand Slam chess final here. So I think it's games against Ivanchuk that we will look at. So I have last time I think we looked at this game here, Carlsen Shirov. So now it's time for Ivanchuk here at the Grand Slam chess final, and in this tournament I will look at both games against Ivanchuk. So it was a double round robin. I think Francisco Valle-Chopons probably qualified because it's held in Bilbao, Spain. Sao Paulo, Brazil, and Bilbao, Spain. So he was probably a Spanish local Spanish player. And I guess the other 5 qualified by rating or by winning some tournament. And interestingly, Carlsen and Ivanchuk shared first place, so that was nice for Ivanchuk. I think this is one of the last tournaments where he could really play even with someone like Magnus. But it was the now when I'm recording this, it's the Olympiad. And Ivanchuk, he managed to defeat Wesley So yesterday. And maybe if I'm doing like this, let's see here, and yeah, I can find it later, but he played and he was winning after like just a few moves. Maybe after 10 moves he was winning against Richard Rapport. So hopefully he converted this, because he's a nice guy and quite a character, Vassily Ivanchuk. So let's see, he playing Magnus Carlsen here, because I think he must be at least over 50, maybe 55, 60, something like that now, Ivanchuk. And interestingly here, there is that Magnus is playing the French defense. We saw him play French defense a few times when he's playing someone lower rated that he definitely want to beat, like Ivanchuk. If he plays a much lower rated player like Ivanchuk, he will try something more sharp to try to win, and then the French defense is perfectly for that. But as you saw, Ivanchuk shared first place, so even if he's a little bit lower rated, he was playing good in this tournament, but not against. He lost the games against Magnus, as you can see here, but he must have won maybe against Vallejo. So this is of course main line. We saw Magnus play knight e2 against someone else, and here it's knight f6 or bishop b4 is the main moves. Computer likes this one, it's a little bit safer, but it's traditionally bishop b4 Wiener variation is the most played, and then the classical variation is the second most. And here it's bishop g5 or e5. e5 is the most common, I think. And this is kinda, we have seen this variation once before. And it's quite important, like how what you should do. Like sometimes white doesn't do this. If instead of playing sometimes the bishop here and queen here, maybe take here and then long castling is something that white sometimes do and try to attack on the king side. But it seems like Ivanchuk wants a more positional game here. And because he already played a3, then castling long is of course quite dangerous, because when black gets his pawns here, then it will immediately start to open the queen side because of this weakness here. So I guess Ivanchuk's plan is maybe bishop h3 or maybe bishop h3 and then short castling maybe. And Magnus played king h8. It was unnecessary. f6 was better. And now he does that. This is like, it's classical way to play for white and put the bishop here. But yeah. But as you can see, the computer is not such a fan of that maneuver. Apparently bishop e5 is correct. I don't know that this French line's very good, so I'm not gonna, I can't explain why, but yeah, apparently bishop e5 was a lot better. He lost almost 0.8 pawns he lost with this move. And maybe bishop d7 wasn't, maybe queen here somewhere was better. I decided to take here. And now apparently knight here with a plan here. Now we see why a3, and it's interesting that the computer thinks this and this is not so good, because this knight a5 and he can't play b3. You kind of want to play b3, but then this pawn is hanging, of course. So he has to do something else. So something like this is what the computer says. I think this looks quite fine for white, but the computer likes black here for some reason. But Magnus tries to open the center at once. And only move here is to take the knight, because if you would go back, then of course d4 would fork here. So he has to take, and it makes sense for Magnus to try to open, because white hasn't castled, so he's not ready for an open center really. So here I guess this was Magnus' plan, but the computer prefers this move. The point is, if here, that he can take here. Take here. Yeah, this looks very good for Magnus. This king is very open in the center. Let's see here. Something like this, but it's concrete play, of course. Yeah, of course they didn't see this far, but here black is of course winning here with his an exchange up, and this pawn is a bit annoying, but it's not really enough, I think. But I guess this was Magnus' plan. Sacrificing a piece temporarily, but this is a fork, so he will get back here. And it's good that he can castle, because you can castle even if the bishop covers the rook. It's just if it's allowed to do. Okay, so here black could take both places. Also queen b8 was possible. He took here. Computer prefers to take this one. Yeah, I kinda feel this is a little bit more logical, that you want to play with this strong bishop here. But of course, you can at once get this formation. Maybe this is fine for white. It's opposite colored bishop. So I guess Magnus thought it gave more winning chances to take like this and play this endgame. Here, it looks kinda even here, I think. But Ivanchuk's made a big mistake. Not a big mistake, but like why let this pawn like stay here? Just take it. Like this is completely fine. This is definitely like the drawish now. But this b3, it gave Magnus some chances, because this pawn is it's a nice pawn, and if c2 would be lost, then it would be very big problems. And already here it's a bit annoying. He tries to pin, but then he has to this passive position with the rook. Like it's black is definitely pushing now. So it was quite a big positional mistake by Ivanchuk here to let this pawn live. Okay, so here, as you can see, Magnus makes a mistake here. It was just to go around and then take this pawn, and he would win here. So he missed that win. This g5, it allows some counterplay here, it looks like. Okay, so he's not trying to take this. He tries to win on the g3 and these pawns, and then win on the king side instead. That's a little bit interesting that he switches sides like that. But yeah, it was better to play rook c2 and try to push the c pawn apparently. And now he does that. And as you could see, he made a big blunder here, blundering the game. Something like b6 here, king h2 here. And as you see, if you go here, then the pawn would queen, so you can't do that. So this is a draw. Nothing to do here, but let's see why king f2 is bad. It's not very clear. Apparently he should have done bishop g6. Let's see why that was so much better. Okay, so it's not so clear, but apparently the reason is that black's king now could go around and pick up this pawn. Interesting, that's quite interesting actually. Because yeah, when it gets here, when the pawn gets here, he had this check here. So it was logical to play king f2, but it didn't work tactically. Magnus didn't see that he played this one, and it allowed white to gain a tempo here on the bishop, and so he couldn't. Yeah, so it couldn't be this check. He gets a tempo here with king e3. So black should have done bishop g6 at once, and now it was apparently a draw here if you play like this, and even if you take the pawns here, or one pawn here, it's not. Yeah, apparently this position is a draw, apparently. But white made a big mistake here, which make him lose a piece, I think. So So it would have been better for black to trade, but both moves are winning. So let's see here. Trades here. Yeah, and this pawn can only be stopped by sacrificing the bishop. But and here of course if he would promote, then it would be a draw because it's the wrong colored bishop for this square. But the problem is of course that he can go here with the king like this. So well, here, and here, and it's win. Let's see. Here is important. Of course, if you take, and you can't move the bishop because G. So it's winning on one tempo here. So yeah, nice game by Magnus. Very weird positional. Very weird by Ivanchuk to play b3 here, like how he underestimated the strength of this pawn. It was just if he would have taken here, I think he would have made a draw quite easily. Okay, so next time we will see the other match, Magnus against Ivanchuk. See you then.